Welcome back to our mini series on how to stand out in the crowded world of applications and job search and so on. We want to make sure we're bringing as much information as possible to our candidates that they can apply in our jobs, in the job search process when they apply with us, in the interview process when they apply with us, as well as anywhere else they might go. This information is useful no matter who you interview with or what career opportunities you're looking for. So today's topic is something that is very important, which is around resumes and how can you best position yourself and prepare a resume that is gonna be the one that's gonna get you to that next step in the interview process, because we know that resumes are really an opportunity for recruiter, hiring manager to take a look and feel that you are a good candidate for that position. Not necessarily 100% of the time, but at least 75% of the time that you fit that resume, or your resume fits the criteria of the person that we're looking for. So Manga, over to you to tell us a little bit more about what candidates should not include on their resumes, and what do you look for as a recruiter?
Right. So I just thought this would be a good topic to bring up, especially we have the graduation season happening now. So some of the fresh talent out there might be just preparing their first resume as we speak. So I feel like this is an interesting conversation for us to have, just to put some tidbits. I mean, there's no perfect way of doing anything, but we'd like to help you understand what, from a recruiter's perspective, what we look for. I'm sure when you Google, even when I was doing my job search, there are so many recommendations out there for what a resume should look like. Should I be doing a one pager? Should I go in detail and make a detailed resume? Should I give a summarization at the top or at the very end? Should I include personal interest, volunteering gigs? So there are a lot of contrasting recommendations that you see online. So I'm sure there are different formats to an interview. I'm sorry, to a resume, and um, just something that I feel like might help you stand out. So um, the goal of a resume is it's your first impression, and you really want to make it your best. So for any position, when you open up, you receive tons of them, and as a recruiter you browse through one after the other, and after a certain time they all start to look the same. So how do you make it stand out? So pick pick a format. First, the format, I believe, is very important because it really catches your eye sometimes. You just spend an extra minute just looking into the resume because the format's interesting. They've tried something new. So Google up some, even before you start working on your resume, Google up some formats, see what holds your interest, and see if there's something new that's trending. Pick some pointers from there, and start with the format. And most likely, most resumes cover some of these areas like work experience, and then you have non-work experience like professional organizations, volunteering involvements, side projects that you've done. You have your education and your certification, your skills and interest at the very end. So I'd like to start by saying, please understand it's going to take some time and effort to get this done. It is not something that you sit down and knock it off in an hour or maybe two. It is a marketing document. It markets you, so spend time and effort. Just, it's not a chore, so don't look at it as one. Take time and effort, because when you take the time and effort, we can see that at the end. We can see it at our end that, oh, you've put some effort into this. So please start with that. um, I would say open with a strong summary. So what we want to see is why you do what you do and how it can help. So start off by maybe a good solid paragraph on what you're doing, and how you'd like to make a contribution. um, and think about think about what you want to read before you write it. Somebody who, you understand your job better, and see what you want to read before you write it down. Um, Always use an accomplishment section and link it to, that's a way I believe you can link it to the current job description. So if you're applying, example, for a marketing job, so give me stats about what you've done in terms of your marketing project. I've accomplished this in this particular time. These were my targets, and this is the timeline I achieved that in. So that kind of gives you an opener into how you can link the particular job to your experience. And a lot of people, they tend to add every single thing that's happened in their life. It's really up to you. I feel like you can be selective on what you want to put on your resume, the skills, the employment, what you should tailor uh, them the way you want them. So if, for example, you've done like a 3-month gig uh, as maybe an instructor in a driving school, but you're really applying for a cyber position. So maybe if you want to avoid that or skip that, yeah, go ahead and do that. It's okay if the hiring manager brings it up. Like, I see a gap in your interview, and then you can maybe explain that, oh, I had a small gig on the side and I did this. But it's okay, and everybody understands this. Life happens and we do other things. So if you want to skip that part, that's okay. And concentrate on your expertise, quantify your accomplishments, and support them with numbers. I cannot stress that enough. Numbers really help us understand, and break down performances, because we don't always speak the tech language you speak. So numbers really help understand, what you do. Also, something, I feel when I talk to the candidates, I feel they have a hard time explaining, even in person, is what they do day to day. It's funny, they do it day after day, but they have a hard time explaining what they do day to day. And that's really a question I ask all my candidates, is what they do day to day. And it'll be funny to see some of them struggle. Oh, well, I check my emails, and I just do what I do every day. Okay, that's the so what do you do every day? So again, that's what we want to see on the resume. Do what you do day after day. So find a way to say that to us through your resume. Um, Also highlight on the value you'll bring to the organization that you're applying to. It'll help for you to kind of research the organization, and tie up your values to the company's value. So that way we're able to find out how you can contribute better to the growth of the company. Also, I can't emphasize this enough, use easy, clear to understand language, please. Because sometimes it's great that you have a great vocabulary, but I hate that I have to Google at least 4 words in the first line. So use simple language, easy to understand language. Please don't make our jobs even harder. The truth, really, I have to say the truth about most resumes, they make no sense, because they're made of jargons. They're too technical. Some of them, um, you know I feel like candidates should take the time to read other people's resume in their line, to understand how alien it feels even to them. So put yourself in a recruiter's shoe. I know nothing technical about your work. So how are you going to make me understand? How are you going to make your resume accessible to me? So really use as simple words as possible. And um, always have a friend or a mentor, or um, a colleague just review it, give you feedback. It helps to understand things from another person's view. Also, something I wanted to add is, and I always emphasize this a lot, is create a LinkedIn profile and tie that up with your resume, because um, resume kind of gives you, is mostly tailor made to a particular job that you're applying for, but LinkedIn kind of gives us a career trajectory as to how you've traveled, and that helps us to see how you've grown from one position to another. And we for sure will definitely look at your LinkedIn profile, if it's available. So do create one and make sure it's tied up to your resume. And I've had candidates ask me, when I ask them, can I have your resume? Oh, my LinkedIn's is update. Do you want to use that? No, we do not want to use that. Most hiring managers do want a completed resume. So although a LinkedIn profile helps, I don't see a resume going out of style. So um, please do have a fully functional resume. So Elena, have you thought about topics like, should candidates involve personal interest in volunteering gigs in their resume? What do you think?
I mean, for me, honestly, the most important is the story you're telling. So to your point that you're mentioning, not to go into too much technical jargon. I just want to know, what have you done? Explain it to me in simple words and what impact you made and how this ties into the job that we're hiring for. So I think storytelling that you've been kind of, talking about is the key here, whether it's on LinkedIn, whether it's on your resume, explaining in simple terms, what is it that you do? How can you do it in our company? Right, and what would make you a great fit, and that's going to make me want to have a chat with you. And realistically, I think statistically recruiters will look at a resume for the first 5 to 7 seconds and decide whether they want to move forward or not. So instead of spending time dissecting what your resume says or what is it that you actually do, the simpler your story is, with highlights, with achievements, the easier it is for us to make a quick decision and move forward to the next round, which is giving you a call or setting up an interview or screen call and so on. In terms of the personal, I think it is important to highlight that, but I don't think it's going to add value if there's no clear story. So it's all great to have those additional things. It shows me that there's something more to you beyond just that technical expertise. So there's something, and maybe we have something in common. So that could be a nice icebreaker I can kind of bring to the table when we do chat. But at the end of the day, if that first page of your resume is not clear into what makes you a potential candidate for this position, I don't care what the rest of that, you could have the biggest accomplishments. Because of the nature of hiring, for better or for worse, most recruiters spend a lot of time screening hundreds of resumes, and it's simply not humanly possible to do that. And if it's gone through the ATS system, of course, like our ATS system, it gives us like percentage match and so on. But still, if your resume is just general, it's not really tailored to the job description, you're not going to make it through, and meaning that the percentage of your resume fit might be low. So we might not even be able to screen you because we cannot screen the hundreds of people that come our way. So, I think everything you mentioned is excellent. There's a lot of really good gems in there. For me, it's the story. I want to know your story, and then I want you to be able to tell me your story. And if you cannot do that, you're gonna struggle in interviews, period. And I've seen this over and over again.
Right. So one last question for all the fresh talent out there. So I know it's a trend, the one pager resume. What are your thoughts on that? And do you think they should run? I mean, some people just have a lot to say. What do you think? Do you think they should do a more detailed resume?
Again, I would focus more on that first page. I think you can make your resume long, etc. But if it's just long without any meat, without any story, without any like things that actually matter, like if it's just a list of things, it doesn't really add value, right? But if it's a well thought, well put together, I don't care if it's 4 pages, but if I'm attracted to page one, I'm gonna be enticed to keep reading. But that resume can be 5, 6 pages. If I don't make it past page one, it doesn't really matter. And I think that there is a lot of talk about how long a resume should be and so on. But I think we need to be realistic and let people know that it's that first page that matters the most. We want
Absolutely.
to know, that's where it's at. Because if you cannot impress me on that first page, meaning that you either don't have a greatly formatted resume, your experience stated in the first page doesn't match at all. I don't see any connectivity between the role you're applying for and your experience. I don't see any highlights. I have to really spend a lot of time digging deeper. again, for better for worse, it's just not the time that we have as recruiters always to be able to go into depth for every single candidate. So when we say, a candidate needs to prepare their resume, it's not just for us. It's not about making our life easier, right? It's also about giving you the best shot possible as a candidate. And I think every recruiter I speak to feels the same way,
Right,
right?
right,
And we do go through all those resumes. We do go through the system, but
right.
if your story doesn't align with what we're looking for, it doesn't matter. We're going to look at your resume. We're going to say this is not the right fit. We're going to move on because you did not tell us how you would be the best fit for that, because you didn't highlight, you didn't spend time working on your resume, you didn't spend time, again, helping us help you get that next step in the job search process.
That is true. Yeah.
All right. Well, these are some excellent points. Hopefully they were helpful. We'll look forward to hopefully hearing some feedback from the candidates and utilizing it, and, asking us more questions about resumes and where else can we answer some of those questions from a recruiter perspective. Until next time.